Excellent. Good to see everybody. I'm sure people gonna running in here like they normally do. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Excellent. Let me just grab something here, get myself together. Of course, my computer said, "Nah, I just want to update your computer real quick." I'm like, "Really? So you just gonna go ahead? You just said, okay, I'm gonna just update. All right, here we go." But that's awesome. That's awesome. We in here. We good. Ready to roll. And good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. All right, so I'm gonna try to squeeze this thing all together into 1 hour. I'm gonna try to condense everything down so I can get y'all up out of here. Get y'all fed, ready to go. Good to see you, Kathy. What's up? How you doing? Cindy's in the house. Jackie's in the house.
I'm doing good. How are you? How's everybody doing?
Hi.
We are doing fantastic. Good. So let's get pushing, y'all. I'm going to let me do this first. I'm gonna put everybody on mute. I'm gonna chat a little bit. Please, if there's anything that comes up while we're talking, please put yourself back off. And that would be terrific. All right. Excellent. All right, good. All right, so we in the month of August. Shoot, summer is like full blast. I don't know what's happening here, but we are blazing hot right now. So when it's real hot like this, we don't want to eat, right? We just ain't hungry because the heat is just kind of rough. But the nice part is that the food that you do consume, at least that food should be more water, has more water in it, right? A lot of foods we eat in summertime have a tendency to have a lot of water. So even if you're not drinking the amount of water you should be drinking, making sure you're having fruits that are high in water, right? I mean, there's a ton. All your salads, high in water. Cucumbers, high in water. Avocados, high in water. Watermelon, high in water. A lot of the fruits we're having, high in water. A lot of the vegetables we have are high in water. So even though you may not be drinking your 100, you still should be. I ain't saying you shouldn't. But what I am saying is, remember, because it's so hot out here, we're perspiring more, and our body still. The interesting thing about your body has to compensate for the heat, but it also has to compensate for the cold. So remember, your body wants to stay at 97, 98.7. It wants to stay there, whether it being too hot, whether it being too cold. Your body's going to have to adjust, and that requires energy. What you always want to do is you want to make sure that you're drinking enough water, especially now because it's very easy to be dehydrated, and it's very, very easy to put yourself in a very perilous position. Because this is plenty of times you could be walking around and you don't even realize that you're in heat exhaustion. The heat exhaustion is actually, you may misinterpret and think it's something else, but heat exhaustion is very traumatic on the body. So especially now, you want to make sure you're drinking a sufficient amount of water. You want to make sure you're getting electrolytes, because even though you're drinking water, are you getting enough electrolytes, right? So your electrolytes, again, can come from a lot of the good vegetables you're consuming. Again, goes back to zucchini, goes back to your watermelon happens to have one of the largest amount of electrolytes out of all the fruits in the summertime. However, watermelon has a lot of sugar too, right? So you got to be conscious of that. Some people says, well, a lot of people are going, especially in the summertime, they're going to the smoothie places because they figure, oh, I'll get me a I'll get me a carrot smoothie. I did this too. You'll get a carrot smoothie, apple smoothie, a orange smoothie, whatever it is. But I just want you to understand something though, that whenever you do that and you do it a lot, that carrot juice that you're getting, essentially that could be around 30 carrots. So you're having 30 carrots. You put that in MyFitnessPal, you will have a heart attack. Because what you did is you're basically just drinking straight sugar without the fiber. So that causes your body to say, wait a minute, I'm having like 20 to 25. I'm having 20 to 25 carrots at one time. That's a tremendous amount of sugar. Same thing with anything. So when you're getting these smoothies and you think you're doing something, you got to think about and start multiplying how many of that particular serving size is that. Your serving size might be 20, might be 15, might be 10. And if you add that up, that's just straight sugar and you eliminated all of the fiber. Me growing up, 10 years ago, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, well, I was having carrot juice like nobody's business. I come from work and I think I was doing something. So I'd have it for lunch. I'd have a carrot drink. But then I started thinking about it, that, yeah, you're getting all the nutrients, but you're overwhelming the body because of the amount of sugar that you're taking in at one time. So I'd rather you just eat it whole foods. I'd rather you have a nice salad. I'd rather you have, things that have the fiber still in it, because that way you're going to still get the substance you want. However, you're not going to get the sufficient amount of sugar at one time. But that's just a surge of sugar. So you want to make sure, number one, you're getting enough water, making sure you're still eating, right? And then number three, making sure you're getting a sufficient amount of rest. And even though you're drinking a lot of water, you got to remember you're perspiring a lot and making sure you're getting in your electrolytes. A nice way to get the electrolytes, at least in the morning, is by having your water and your organic apple cider vinegar, having some lemon with it. The nice part about that, the lemon and the organic apple cider vinegar has a lot of electrolytes. So why not start a day off with that? You're having two teaspoons, not tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of organic apple cider vinegar in a 10 to 12 ounce glass, drinking that first, then follow that up with the second one. Two things happen there. You're getting 25 ounces right there first thing in the morning. Number two, you're turning your body from being acidic to alkaline, because your body is essentially acidic. The stresses that we have on our body is always going to be acidic unless you help make it alkaline. And if you're eating vegetables, you're having salads, you're having a lot of foods that come in from the ground, you're neutralizing the system. The reason why we end up being acidic is because of the crap food that we're eating, and we're not compensating that with giving natural whole foods. So the first thing you want to do, if you kick the day off, organic apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning, making that a habit, you got 25. Listen, that's 1/4 of your goal is being taken in first thing in the morning. Now all you got to do is worry about the other 75. And then making sure if you go to bed at 10 that you shut the faucet off at 8:30. Because what we don't want to do is have you go to bed and then your bladder's full, because that's going to break up your sleep and that's going to mess up your REM sleep. Your REM sleep is where you want to be. If you're doing all this exercise and all this working out and you're breaking up your sleep all night, your body's not recovering properly. Right? So what we want to do is we have to back this out and say, okay, first thing in the morning, let me get my 25 in. And then let me look at this. Engage yourself. Like, okay, it's 12 o'clock. The goal I had set for myself at 12 o'clock, did I drink that amount already? If that's the case, you're running pretty smooth. But if you're not and it's 12 o'clock and you say, wait a minute, I'm not even close, then you got to come up with a game plan. How am I going to get the rest of the water in? And how do I shut it off at the end? So absolutely the goal is 100. But if you get to 8:30 and you go to bed at 10, that's it. You just send me a water check saying I ain't get it. Sorry, Charlie. But then the next day you readjust and say, okay, I didn't do it today, but let me see how I can regroup and say, all right, well, that means I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to set my Apple Watch or my Fitbit and make that thing buzz every hour. And every time it buzzes, it's giving me a mental reminder. Am I drinking my water or am I not? Because you're instilling brand new habits. And when you got brand new habits, you're going to have to trigger certain things before that actually is something that's going to be part of you. So first thing you're going to have to trigger. You're going to have to trigger some things. Even if it was every hour, it just buzzed. And that buzz, it don't have to say on your phone. It don't have to say, Kathy, drink water. No, ain't got to have all that. You see the buzz goes in your brain. You're like, oh, snap. Okay. That buzz is just like a mental reminder. It doesn't have to be yelling at you or nothing like that. It's just giving you a mental reminder to the point if your wrist is buzzing, you're like, all right, I ain't on track. Let me go. Let me see. Because even like myself, I can get consumed with what I'm doing. And next, I'm like 3 hours went by. I didn't drink. I'm like, what? So if you trigger things to make you do that until you get to the point where it's habitual, like, at 12 o'clock, I'm right on target. Or if I'm not, I better drink up. More important with that is that having something in the beginning of the morning, having that routine, that having a little bit of breakfast or anything else like that to kick the day off, right? Getting metabolism going. 3 things happen. And we talked about this probably last month. But the 3 things happen when you're taking that organic apple cider vinegar. Number 1, you're starting the detoxification process for your body. Number 2, you're turning your body from acidic to be alkaline. And number 3, you're starting the digestive system to kick off. Because a lot of times the reason why we're starving or we're not, not where we want to be is simply because we are not drinking enough water. So if you're not drinking enough water, you end up compensating by eating more food. But if you drink more water, it actually compensates to make you feel not as hungry, right? It helps in society because what's going to happen is it's going to prevent you from being hungry because your stomach's full. Second thing is you're kicking off your kidneys and you're getting your organs to start getting back to where it wants to go. In the beginning, you're going to be going to the bathroom a lot. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. But I'm glad, and you should be too. Eventually, your bladder and everything will adjust. So people that have been doing this for quite some time, they don't have to go to the bathroom as much because, trust me, your bladder and your body don't want to go to the bathroom like that forever either. But what it will do is after a period of time, your body goes, okay, I guess she's going to keep doing this, so I'm going to adjust. It's the same thing as you working out. Maybe you're working out with 3-pound weights. Then it's 5-pound weights. Then it's 10-pound weights. Your body adjusts based on your need, but it will not adjust if you're just randomly doing stuff. It just won't. So whenever your body wants to adjust, it's going to take that 14, 21, maybe even 30 days, maybe 45. If you keep jumping back and forth and you're not consistent, it is not going to stay steady. It's going to say, okay, she doing the same. She doing another one of these weight loss programs. I ain't moving because we've been doing this one for decades. I'm not adjusting nothing. But if it knows you're doing that and you're persistent and consistent in your effort, it's a whole different ballgame. All right. The other thing I wanted to bring up was that I hope you're enjoying the H exercises, right? You'll notice that usually every 2 months, every 2 months, I integrate some different exercises for 2 reasons. One is we don't want to get your body accustomed to the movement. But number 2, it's always nice to have the variety. I mean, if you scrolled through your Trainerize app and looked at all the exercises, it's safe to say that there's probably about 150 exercises in there. But it would be based on what your need is and based on what your goal is. So that's the beauty of us talking on a monthly basis or every 2 weeks, or, we're connecting back and forth on a messenger. And then on the weekend, when you do your assessment, trust me, I'm reading everybody's assessment. So if you're writing the assessment down, if you're doing the assessment, even if it didn't respond, trust me, I read it. And what that allows me to do is that every month I kind of pre-process in my head, all right, what are we looking to do? What are we looking to approach? And then I might adjust your exercises based on the need. Maybe you've been working out and you're liking where you are. You're liking the weight where you are, and you just want to make an adjustment, but maybe now it's not necessarily losing weight. Maybe it's maintaining the weight you have, and now it's maintenance. Now it's maybe I like the weight that I'm at, but I want to form my body and tone it up. See, there's two levels, really there's three. There's two levels that you're really at. One is that you want to drop the weight down. And that requires different exercises as another person who wants to maintain the weight they currently have. Maintaining the weight you currently have, we're really pushing your body to build muscle. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing when you are trying to lose weight, but the difference is going to be the type of exercise you do and the intensity of the exercise. Second thing, if you're on a maintenance phase, your goal may not be 1,300 anymore. It might be 1,400 or 15. Well, wherever you are, let's say you're at 1,200. Some people are at 1,200, some people at 1,300, some people at 14. But if you're in the maintenance phase, you might end up bumping that up to one. You would bump that up maybe to 1,000 calories. It allows you to have more calories to consume. But now we still got a balance. Your percentages are going to still stay the same, right? The allocation of the percentages should still be the same. You can still have the carbohydrates, but the percentages and how we wiggle that around is going to be around the same, because I'm not a fan of you trying to push that over certain numbers. I'd rather you look at those numbers and then we make the adjustments based on your need. But really, I don't see anybody that has to have the need to change the percentages at this time. If anything, a person might want to add some more calories. But right now, the reason why the percentages that you have is based on what your goals are, based on what your needs are, and based on your activity. If you add more, it's going to be a challenge, because what we end up doing is sometimes when we add more, the way that we add it will end up adding more carbs. And if you add the more carbs, you're adding more sugar. If you add the more sugar, you're adding more stimulation to your body. If you're adding the stimulation to your body, you're allowing the glycogen and also your what's the word? Oh Lord, not diabetes. Your glycogen, you allow your glycogen stores to start. That means your sugar is going to start ramping back up. That is going to start messing around with your metabolism and everything else. So everybody right now, it's a comfortable number where you are. The only thing though, you don't get a prize if you're at 800 or 900, right? If you're doing 800, 900 every day, but you're given the allocation of 13, there's a reason why you have the allocation of 13. Because if you're at 18 and 19, and let's say in a particular day, you might have burned, if you did a boot camp, okay, if you did the evening boot camp, and then you did 2 other exercises in the morning, you understand that's around 300, 400, 500 calories that you burn. So here's 300, 400, 500 calories, but you only ate 800. So you're operating on 300 calories. That is not appropriate. You're basically running on fumes. So we don't want to have you running on fumes. We want to have you at a caloric deficit. So the beauty is, let's say you had 1,200. Well, let's do it this way. Let's say you had 1,300. Let's say your goal was 1,300, but you burned in calories. If you burned in calories 500, you're at a 500 deficit. You still ate your 1,300, but you burned 500 calories. You're at a 500 deficit for the day. That 500 deficit for the day, if you did that every single day, you know you lose a pound a week, because 3,500 calories is 1 pound. So if 3,500 calories is 1 pound and you lose, and you're at a deficit of 500 pounds, 500 calories a day, you did that over the course of the week, you lost a pound. If you did that for the whole month, you lost 4 pounds of real body weight. Real body weight, not the water weight, not the stuff that's throwing your scale up and down every day. We're talking about real body weight. And what's happening is your metabolism starts running, your body starts activating, you start losing body fat. You have to lose body fat based on those numbers. So we don't want to have you, you're grinding it out doing, and a lot of you are doing that. You're doing morning, you're doing the boot camps, you're doing all these other activities. But listen, you're burning like 400 or 500 calories because your metabolism is still on fire after the exercise. So if you only ate 800, you're on fumes. And if you're on fumes, it's detrimental to your body because you're not allowing it. It can't heal. It can't build and it can't heal because that 300 calories your body's just trying to live with. So your body has a certain amount of calories that it has to burn just to live. So if you don't give it a sufficient amount of food, then the fuel that it needs to live, it's like, all right, I only got 400 to work with today. For the day, I only got 400 to work with. So everything's got to slow down. That means your body's running slower than it should. Based on your activity, you need to eat more so you can be at the 1,300. Have the carbohydrates that you need, have the fats you need, have the proteins you need. Because if you don't, then you're jeopardizing everything you're trying to accomplish. You can't do both. You can't be in starvation mode and you can't be trying to lose weight at the same time. It's not realistic, nor is it's dangerous, actually. So if you're trying to lose weight, you should be eating your 1,300 or at least close to it. And you should be doing activities so your metabolism stays steady and you're burning calories. That allows that caloric deficit and you're going to be fine. But if you're at 700-800 and I'm seeing your MyFitnessPal at 700-800 every day, then you're exhausted. But because you've been operating that way for decades, you don't think you're exhausted. But you go to bed and you collapse. You ain't even dreaming. You hit the pillow and it's just lights out. If you hit the pillow and it's lights out like that, and you don't remember your dreams, that means you're exhausted. That has nothing to do, that ain't tired. That's like straight exhaustion. And if you're exhausted every day like that, you're not allowing the body to recover. You're not allowing the body to heal. You're not allowing the body to be able to maintain itself. So eat your food, but just be easy and, be safe and conscious of what you're going to eat. Any questions on that? All right. What I wanted to do is I wanted to share with you something because, I'm always got to give you a resource. The resource I wanted to share with you today is basically, and I'm going to send it to you later, but I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to go over it with you. What it is a 7-step guide to healthy eating. And I'm going to actually try to walk through this with you. And I think this will be very helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Excellent. Good. Can you see it or no? You can see it. Okay, good. All right. Let me, I want to see if I can get this to go through.
I see it partially.
All right. Yep. I'm going to scroll through it. As we go through it. So essentially what this is, it's actually it's actually a lot of material. What I wanted to do is I wanted to cut through this and kind of go over it a little bit. I'm going to just bring up some key things about it. The 7-step guide to eating. One of the biggest things that you want to do at first of the 7 steps, it's going to guarantee the success, but it's going to make you be mindful, right? The biggest thing we want to do is we want to be mindful about the choices of what happened. So the first one out of everything is slow down. Take it slow and go at your own pace. Everybody's pace is going to be different. Everybody has a different knowledge base of the food or the things that they're doing. Some people have been with me longer than others, so you need to go at your own pace, but you do want to be mindful about the decision and choices you're making. So the 7 steps, basically, number 1 is to eat your vegetables, right? That's going to be one of the main roles that you want to do, because again, when you're eating more vegetables, you're getting more roughage, you're getting more minerals, you're getting different colors, you're getting antioxidants, phytonutrients. So you want to get your vegetables in. And really, your plate should be half vegetables anyway. Second one, you want to get your fats. This is nothing you don't know, but I want to make it, at least put it in a way that kind of simplifies things out. Now you can take this and run with it. Second one is eating healthy fats, right? Cholesterol is good. We'll talk about that because it's a myth. It's not the fact your cholesterol is high. What it is, it's the type of cholesterol you're consuming. Obviously, stay hydrated, right? You want to be mindful. Try to make most of your meals at home, right? Make home meals, prepare, prep. Introduce one day a month, a week, one day a week, just as a non-meat day. For you guys that like eat a lot of protein, you can get your protein, but you can take one day as a meatless day. Might be a meatless Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. Find a day of the week and make that a meatless day that you're having no meat, period, no meat for that day. Reinvent your breakfast, reinvent your lunch, right? We have a tendency to eat the same thing for lunch and the same thing for breakfast. Change that up. And then look at the ingredients you're consuming. You know, a lot of things we're consuming has a lot of salt and a lot of sugar. We really got to take some time and look at the label, right? So first, let's dig into vegetables. Biggest thing you want to do about your vegetables is that you want to know where they came from, right? All the vegetables are good for you, but some vegetables are clearly a lot better than others. So the first thing is you want to do, remember what we were saying about your plate? Spend half of your plate should be vegetables. If we broke your plate in 4, one part of your plate, if you split it in half, one part of the plate should be vegetables. Vegetables and also a salad. 1/4 of the plate is going to be a protein, and 1/4 of the plate should be a carbohydrate. So again, split it in 4. Half the plate is greens, vegetables, and a salad, something green, half the plate. 1/4 of the plate meats, protein, and 1/4 plate is going to be your carbohydrates. If you notice, a lot of the pictures, I'm actually showing you pictures, right? That I'm giving you containers. I'm showing you how it should be set up, right? You got your meat, you got your proteins, your vegetables. Be mindful about that, because if you're doing it that way, you're rounding up your foods. A lot of your vegetables, yeah, you don't necessarily have to have the vegetables as a vegetable. You can puree a lot of your vegetables, right? When we were growing up, my kids were growing up, man, we were throwing all type of vegetables in their stuff, in their meatloaf. I mean, you name it, in their hamburgers. They were like, Dad, why does the hamburgers look yellow or orange? I was taking some carrots and throwing carrots in there. I was pureeing, peas or whatever. So a nice thing to do is that you can always throw vegetables in your soups. You can puree them and put them in your meatloaves. You can put them in your salad, whatever you want to do, but you can take a lot of your vegetables. They don't have to be in vegetable. The nice part is you can puree them and throw them in all your stuff. We always talk about this, but you got to eat the rainbow, right? The beauty of eating the rainbow is that every color equates to a different thing. For example, your reds, different. Your reds is going to give you something different than your greens. Your yellows are going to give you something in the greens, and your blues, your whites. So you want to make sure that all the vegetables you're eating is falling under the rainbow. Maybe some eggplant, maybe some blueberries, some oranges, everybody wants to focus on greens, but what about the other colors? You got to make sure you're getting them all. You're getting the whites, you're getting the yellows, you're getting the reds, you're getting the blues, you're getting the greens. Every one of them gives you a different different plant-based nutrients. All these plant-based nutrients is what's called plant-based nutrients is called phytonutrients. A phytonutrient is the same nutrients that every one of the plants use phytonutrients to prevent outside invaders from attacking the plant. So phytonutrients could be lycopene, it could be niacin, everything that's coming from that plant. See, there's insects and all kinds of intruders that try to invade these particular vegetables. The phytonutrients is the barrier that surrounds that particular produce to prevent it from being under attack. So those same phytonutrients, when you're consuming them, guess what it's doing? It's building antioxidants for you to allow your body to fight off outside invaders. So don't just focus on greens. Get your eggplants in there, get your beets in there, get your, if you're having peppers, get some red peppers, get some yellow peppers, get some green peppers. If you're getting broccoli, get some cauliflower. Cauliflower is white, right? It's a cousin, but both of them give you a different phytonutrient. Cauliflower is really albino broccoli, but it also has different phytonutrients. So make sure you're eating the rainbow, because you got to get your beta carotene, your iron, your folic acid. Each one of them give you a different one. So don't just focus on greens all the time. Now, here's something you may not have thought about, because we're talking about really, these are the 5 main ones that people focus on, but here's some of the things we may be missing. So your tomatoes, we're going to just talk about storage. Your tomatoes, actually, it's better if they're not refrigerated. So if you keep your tomatoes out, they actually, at room temperature, they're going to retain their freshness and taste more than you put them in the refrigerator. Your green, and so tomatoes you can leave out for about 1 week maximum, right? You want to purchase them. A lot of times you want to get the ones that are, you probably see a lot, the ones that are plum tomatoes or the vine tomatoes. The vine, actually, you'll see them a lot of times. They're still on the vine. Like you can get like 4 or 5 of them. They're actually, the vine is still attached. If you can, like I'm a big fan of getting the little cherry tomatoes, and I put them in my salad all the time. So getting cherry tomatoes, put in your salad, those must be organic. Your tomatoes should be organic too, because you're going to be eating the skin. So any fruits or vegetables you're eating the skin, you should be more conscious about getting organic. If you're not going to eat the skin, then you don't have to really focus as much of it being organic. I'm saying that lightly, because the reason why you should, the ones on the skin, you should be more focused on organic, because you're eating the skin and the pesticides are being sprayed. Green beans. Green beans are good, but they can store for about 2 days in the refrigerator, about 4 days, but you need to keep them in a cool place, right? If sometimes I make a mistake and I might buy a bunch of vegetables, and then I'm like, okay, I didn't really feel like this, and my green beans in 4 days starts to get slimy and they start to break down and get soft. So unfortunately, if you want to eat fresh, healthy vegetables, you may have to make an additional run in the middle of the week just to get some more vegetables. I'm a big fan of you prepping it on the weekend, but maybe your vegetables, you might have to grab something in the middle of the week just to make sure you're maintaining the consistency, because a lot of that breaks down because of oxidation. Your lettuce, same thing. It can store up to 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator, but the fresher the better, because as you know, lettuce has a tendency to wilt, right? So you might get lettuce at the beginning of the week, but by Thursday, Friday, you're not a fan anymore because it's starting to wilt. It's getting soft. Broccoli is probably one of the longest ones you can hold on to, right? So you can keep those up to about 5 days in the refrigerator. You should be okay. Cucumbers, though, cucumbers are purchased, but you can get them for about a week, but you shouldn't really refrigerate them, because when you refrigerate the cucumbers, it has a tendency to oxidize too quick. So a lot of the things, like we were saying, your cucumbers and also your tomatoes, you might want to keep them out, but you want to put them in a dark location or put them somewhere that they're covered. A lot of times, a good one to go by is put them in a paper bag, a regular paper bag, small paper bag, put them in there, because number one, the light is not going to be hitting it. But number two is you got it outside, so you don't have to worry about flies or anything else like that. Like a lot of times I'll put avocados and mangoes, I'll put them in that in a paper bag, because in that case, if you're doing avocados or mangoes, it actually ripens quicker. It'll ripen quicker because it's in dark and it's outside, right? So when you get this, look at the resource, so you can just think about, when you're getting vegetables, we want you to eat them, but at the same time, a lot of them are not going to last as long. So talking about fresh, canned, or frozen, it's always better to go fresh. Second one is going to be frozen. 10 is going to be the last, right? But now, the reason why I'm saying fresh right now is because everything's in season and you have a better chance of getting everything fresher. As the winter comes, you might want to switch to frozen, though, because now everything's not in season. You're getting things shipped, and now you're getting it shipped. Things are getting oxidized, or it's going to be sprayed just to keep the consistency. So if you're getting it fresh, that's perfect, but you got to be seasonal about that. It's going to taste better if it's in produce, especially now. Maryland, we're doing good because everything's in season for us. The issue with you getting it tinned, that you're going to get the benefit, but it is going to be in a container that's confined, and a lot of times you're going to get a lot more salt because it's got to have a longer shelf life. If you're going to get something like beans, like red beans, black beans, or any kind of beans, I like getting it in the can, but the only thing with that, I wash it now, right? Because you see how slimy it is. If you ever get beans out of the can, it's got a lot of salt and it's got a lot of sliminess to it now. So what you do is you take it out of that tin can, put it in a calendar, and then you wash that all away, and then just use the beans. And if you need something now, you can put some chicken broth or you can put vegetable broth in there to make the consistency back to where you need it to go. Make sense, y'all? Because that's too much. It's too much salt in the can. Frozen is the best way to go, definitely when the winter changes. Plus, believe it or not, your frozen might be healthier than your local produce, because when it's frozen, it's flash frozen, which means it comes from the farm, it hits frozen, and that means the oxidation process stops. The oxidation process doesn't stop because it comes from the farm. It's got to go through distribution. It's got to go to different stores. It's going through heat, cold, transportation. Now the oxidation process in your clock is still going, so the nutrients continue to be deprived. But when it's flash frozen, the clock stops. Especially if you're single or you don't eat a lot of food, when it's frozen, you take out what you need, right? You can cook that up right there on the spot. Boom. If you're a single person or just the two of you, you buy all these vegetables. You don't use it. Now you're tossing it. You're wasting money. If you're getting it frozen, the nice part is you use what you need and keep the rest frozen, right? Plus, it's going to last you like it could last six to 12 months as long as you don't get freezer burn. Let's talk about fats real quick. You got different types of fats. You can get your fats from fish, get your fats from avocados, you can get your fats from nuts. Fish is an excellent choice, y'all. Very heart healthy, good cholesterol. Avocados is good also. Remember, avocados are fruit. It ain't a vegetable. Excellent source of unsaturated fats, right? You're getting some healthy cholesterol. The avocado can be eaten in different things. You can put in your salad, guacamole, you can put it on the toast. It's an excellent, excellent source of fat. And then your nuts. But your nuts, you can't go crazy with nuts though. And you want to make sure two things: that one, it's unsalted. And then number two, if you can go raw, you want to get raw nuts, not the honey roasted and all that other mess. The nice part about nuts, it's a healthy snack. I'm a big fan of you having almonds, right? So if you have almonds, a good goal is to get a Ziploc, 24 almonds in a Ziploc, carry that with you all day long. When you have the little munchies, boom, you can take some in. It's got a tremendous amount of nutrients and it's a tremendous amount of fiber, and it keeps you satiated, right? And you can use almonds or all those. You can put them in everything. You put them in your nuts. You can put them in your salad. You put them in your pasta. You put them in your stew. You can just go wild with nuts, but not too much, right? The benefits of you getting it is going to give you vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, essential fatty acids, your omega fatty acids. It's going to give you fats and cholesterol. Remember, there's cholesterol, it's HDL and LDL. Your HDL, the way make it simple for people, I always remember it is that HDL is happy. I go happy, right? Happy means that's your good cholesterol. Your LDL is your bad cholesterol. So if you think about LDL, LDL is low, HDL is high, but I just say happy. That's the easy way I try to make people remember that you want to have your HDL, your good HDL is your good cholesterol. The issue is that a lot of people are getting cholesterol from saturated fats. That's the problem. If you're eating a lot of foods that are high in saturated fats, that's where the cholesterol is coming from. The good cholesterol actually helps you with inflammation in your blood health, heart health. So getting good fats is good, but saturated fats is not good. And like I said, we always talk about that the amount of fat you should be getting is about 30% of your dietary habits, right? Because fat should be 30%. Your proteins, proteins are going to be 40, and then your carbohydrates are going to be 30. Right? So 30% of your food should be from fat. So you can have fats. Get down, y'all. Different cooking oils. Cooking oils are tricky because each one of them have what's called a smoke point, which means there's a point where you overcook it and you can make the oil that you're using to cook rancid. So you don't want to put high heat to certain things. So sunflower oil has a high smoke point, which means that you can cook it at a higher level. Your olive oil. Olive oil is tricky because it doesn't have a high smoke point, right? Suitable for cooking and roasting, but the benefit of olive oil, if you cook with regular olive oil, that's fine, but you don't want to stir fry with it. Extra virgin olive oil. If you're using extra virgin olive oil to stir fry or cook, you're wasting your money because all of the nutrients that make it extra virgin, when it gets heated, you're losing it. So extra virgin olive oil is better when it's cold. And that way you can put it in dressings or dips or anything like that. That's the benefit. You're wasting money if you're cooking all the time with extra virgin olive oil. In fact, we have two. We have extra virgin olive oil and we have regular olive oil. The regular olive oil, if I'm going to cook with something, I would use the regular. But if I'm using something cold, if I'm making vinaigrette or anything like that, that I'm not cooking with it, then the extra virgin olive oil I'm using. You could use rice oil, has a high, you can cook, that also be cooked high. So sunflower oil, rice oil is also good, peanut oil. But the only thing, peanut oil has a taste to it, right? Coconut oil has a taste to it. We cook a lot with coconut oil also, but it has a taste to it. So you have to have the expectation is if you're going to cook it, you're going to have that nutty taste. If you cook with coconut oil, you're going to have that coconut taste. Sometimes it's all right. I mean, a lot of times your stir fry, it actually gives that coconut oil, gives it a nice flavor profile. Now, I left this here for a reason. This bottom one is rapeseed oil, better known as canola oil. The biggest reason why the United States is pushing rapeseed oil, canola oil, is because it has a high smoke point, meaning you can cook it high level. But I'm telling you this because rapeseed oil should not be your choice to cook with. Canola should not be your choice to cook with because canola has a tendency to create inflammation. So out of all of these, sunflower oil, olive oil, rice oil, peanut oil, coconut oil, but I would stay away from the rapeseed oil, but I wanted to leave it in here because everybody and their mother wants you to cook with canola. And I'm saying that you really should use that as your last resort. You notice I don't have vegetable oil, and you notice I don't have corn oil because a lot of those are actually also high inflammation, causes high inflammation. Your vegetable oil, believe it or not, if you turn it around, it says soybean oil. The bulk of your vegetable oil is going to say soybean oil. And soybean oil also causes inflammation. So the two you want to kind of stay away from is going to be the rapeseed oil, which is canola, and the other one is corn oil or vegetable oil because that's really soybean oil. Yeah, they're cheaper, but do you need the inflammation? You're trying to cook healthy and you're creating inflammation at the same time. That's don't make sense. Hydration, I'm going to run through this real quick because I preach this one too much. You got to drink your water. 100 ounces a day. You can always put some taste in there, right? If you have a tendency to drink orange juice and all those other ones, or you think, let me get some cranberry juice. You want to get the ocean spray. That thing got so much sugar in it. And if you look at it, cranberries is sour. So the reason if you get cranberry juice and you drink cranberry juice by itself, it's very sour, it's very bitter. So what you're doing is you're going to have cranberry juice, you see right before it, either going to say grape juice or apple juice. That's going to be the bulk of that, not right. And again, you can always make your different types of water. Again, some good suggestions. You can get a jug of water. You can put some limes. You can put some ginger in there. You can put some raspberries in there for flavor. You can put some cucumbers. You can put some lemon. You can put some mints in there. You can put a half a slice of orange. You can put some blueberries. You can put some basil in there. It's just giving you different flavor profiles so you don't have to drink water all the time. It's kind of cool. If you put some mint, a lemon, actually, I challenge you just to make some cucumber, lemon, and a mint and put it in a pitcher. It's delicious. And it has a different flavor profile. I would challenge you to use all three of those. Handful of basil, cut up some orange, put some blueberries in there, put it in the jug, go to town. Don't worry, y'all. I'm going to send this to y'all tomorrow. Calm down, calm down. And the last one. Well, not the last one, but I'm going to push through this quick because I still want to cut you guys loose. Is homemade meals. Making sure you're getting homemade meals. You want to eat mindfully. That is the best way to eat mindfully when you're making your own meals from scratch at home. You want to cut off the television. I call it, yeah, you call it television. I call it the television. Turn off the television. Enjoy your meal that you just made. Take some time. between your bites. You don't have to wolf it down. There's no race when you're eating your food. Chew carefully, depending on the texture of food. You want to take around 30 chews. Make sure it's liquefied so the body can break it down. Take smaller mouthfuls. Take your time. Avoid distractions during your meal. Put the phone away. You ain't got to scroll through Facebook while you're eating your food. It's not necessary. Take your time. Enjoy the food. And think about what's on your plate. Maybe you got your plate's too big. Maybe you buy. Nobody said you got to have a family plate for dinner. You can get a smaller plate, right? You don't have to have a big old plate. So you want to think about making homemade meals. You want to think about your portion sizes, and you want to think about ready-made or homemade. A lot of people will go to like Wegmans, or, they make a lot of pre-made things, and you can just bring that home. But when you get the pre-made, you're also going to pay for that because there's got to be preservatives in there. Not necessarily Wegmans. Wegmans is pretty cool with that, right? They have a lot of things that are prepaid, that are pre-done, and you can watch them actually doing it because they do that every day. They'll make zucchini pasta, all kinds of other stuff, and they have it pre-packaged right there, not confined, but in a tray with saran wrap over it, which means they did it that day, right? But if you're going to get the ones that are pre-packaged, you're paying for that because you're going to get the preservatives and all that stuff you don't need. Last thing I want to focus on really today would be just to read the labels. Take some time. Everything that you should be getting, you want to look at the back. Take a look at the back. Even though you could sit here and go, Cheerios are good, but then you start looking at everything in there. I mean, is Cheerios really that good? You want to make sure everything that's below there, you can read, but if you can't read anymore, you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be having this. So you want to look at the fats, you want to look at your cholesterol, sodium, potassium, but more importantly, you want to look at the serving size. So even for this Cheerios, it says the serving size is 1/4 cup. 3/4. 3/4 cup is one serving size. If you having a bowl of Cheerios, you're not having one. You're not having a 3/4 cup of cereal. You're probably having one or two. That means that the calories is not 110. It's 300 because you're having 3 serving sizes. Then you add the milk. So no, it's not 150. It's 150 times 3 or 150 times 2. But we all quick about it, looking at it. Oh, okay, that's cool. This is only 110 calories, 150 calories. No, but you had 2 serving sizes or 3. So that adds up. So when you're looking at the label, make sure you're looking at the serving size and making sure that you're looking at the sodium, the cholesterol, the carbs, everything else, right? That one bowl, let's go one further. I'm looking at it right now. 3/4 cup, but look at the carbs, 22 grams. Most likely you're going to have 2 bowls, 2 serving sizes. You're not going to have one. You got 2 serving sizes, right there that says 44 grams for the bowl of Cheerios you just had. 44 grams of carbs. I think you need to find another breakfast. So look at the ingredients, look at the allergens, look at the nutrition, look at the contents, look at some of the considerations, look at the manufacturer, and then look at the intake. And the last here, and you'll get a chance to look at it when I send it out probably tomorrow. That is just some tips, basically some quick tips about taste, about your oils, different spices, how you can spike and change the consistency of the food to make it better for you. Changing the oil, maybe vinegar, hot peppers, putting in different herbs, changing your spices. It might not be the same thing, but guess what? You can change it simply by adding an herb. This is going to talk a little bit about your meats, non-meats. Maybe you're vegetarian, you're vegan, you don't like eating animals. It just gives you some good substitutes, meat substitutes. and talking about reinventing your breakfast. And the last one talking about hidden ingredients. So this is a nice resource, y'all. Nice resource. It's, if I remember, I think it's around 20 something pages, but it'll be a nice resource that'll give you about 7 different keys that you can run with to help you make better choices towards your eating. All right, let me just drop this back. All right, let me do something here. Get back to my screen. Excellent. Good. So now, I'll send you that resource tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be very helpful because it'll give you some things. Because sometimes we even get complacent. So we're actually eating healthy, but after a while, it's like, all right, Wallace is giving me hundreds of recipes. I'm having the same foods though every day. I'm not changing up stuff. But if you're eating the same thing, you have a tendency to get bored. So we want to skew it. Even if you had, the same thing for breakfast, change it a little bit, right? Switch something. Maybe having bacon all the time, turkey bacon. Maybe change it and have some turkey sausages. Maybe had some avocado toast. Maybe had some oatmeal and combine it with something else. Maybe had some eggs or egg whites. You got to change it up. And you got to also do that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because you don't want to be in the same regime. Some people are just, I have some clients that they eat the same thing every day and they cool with it. That's fine. But, are you getting all the nutrients you need because you're eating the same foods? Remember, is the same foods the same color? Are you getting your purples, reds, greens, oranges? Are you getting all that in if you're eating the same foods every day? No, you're not. So you got to switch it up every once in a while. And that'll be very beneficial for your health, but also be very beneficial for you to just not be complacent about your food choices that you're having. So that's what I wanted to give.
I have a comment. For me, because basically it's new to me, it's better that I prep my meals and for me to eat the same thing every day because it stops me from eating like in the morning, grabbing a Pop-Tart. So it's
Absolutely.
easier for me to go to the refrigerator and take out what I prepared, Sunday. And even with lunch, it stops me from going to the vending machines because, I had a relationship with vending machines. You know what I mean?
Right. Kathy, you are 100% right. I appreciate you saying that. Like we were saying that based on the level and where you are, that you definitely have to put that into consideration because right now, especially just getting started, the biggest thing you want to do is to have a habit, right? A habit of eliminating the things that are triggering you. And that will help you now, like you said, is having the same thing for breakfast, having a similar thing for lunch, that you're having a consistency. And then after a while, you're like, all right, I'm in the flow because these habits are now real deal to me. I can switch that every once in a while. So, Kath, you're 100% correct. To starting out, you always want to have pretty much like almost like rigid schedule, like boom, 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 boom. So you can stay steady. And then you can see after a while, all right, I can make the adjustments now, but right now I'm not because it's easy to go after that Pop-Tart. It's easy to go back to the vending machine if you're all over the place and like every day is like, okay, I got to think of this, think of this. No, so you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
So for me, it's baby steps. I'm quite sure everybody else has gone through what I'm going through now.
No question. Me too.
Thank you.
Me too.
And also I have one more question with the because the other day I made some spinach, but I used the extra virgin olive oil.
Yes.
So that wasn't a good thing to do.
You stir fried it?
Because I just steamed it, so it could get like real soft. Just a little bit. It was no more, and I put some garlic in there with it. It was just no more than like 5 minutes or something like that.
Right. So what you did was you didn't cause it to be overcooked,
Okay.
right? Overcooking would be like you was just straight up like using it for stir fry, right? So using it as a stir fry, that wouldn't be a good idea because you're going to kill up all of the everything that was there good would be gone. But if you're doing it like just doing a quick, you're heating it up, but not to the point you're trying to fry it, that would be a different story because you're still going to keep the nutrients in. The advice, though, I would do for spinach, because spinach wilts real quick, right? And it gets real soft. So I probably wouldn't want to do it for 5 minutes. I'd probably make it less than that to allow the fiber that is there, because spinach doesn't really have that much fiber. But when we cook it down so much, you're losing all the fiber that's there. Sometimes, even if we're cooking it so much, all the nutrients that were in the spinach has a tendency to go in the water or go into the oil. And if we cook things up too much, we can lose a lot of the nutrients inside the water or the sauce or the gravy or whatever is left, and we may not use that. So we're kind of losing a percentage of that. So you're doing it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you're doing it. I would probably not. I would think that 5 might be too much. I think 2 to 3, because your objective is really just to heat it up and then soften it down a little bit, but not to the point where it's like super soft. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And plus, I'm a picky eater anyway, so I'm just trying to find my way through what I like and not like.
Right.
And so spinach is something I just really started eating.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about cooking that spinach in ghee?
Cooking spinach in ghee is very good. And those that don't know what ghee is, it's clarified butter. I'm a big fan of clarified butter. In fact, thank you for bringing it up, Jackie. Clarified butter has a very high smoke point, which means you can cook that thing down and it's not going to burn. Right? So, because the reason why clarified butter doesn't burn is because the cream has been taken out of it. So clarified butter is really, you can see right through it. It's just like straight butter without the cream. The cream is what makes it burn. The cream is gone, so now you can cook that. So yes, if I like cooking with ghee because the flavor enhances all the vegetables.
I cook all my vegetables in ghee.
In ghee, yeah. The flavor.
How do you spell? I've never heard of that before.
Yep,
How do you spell
it's called Ghee.
Do they sell it in Giant?
Yes, you can get ghee in, but better yet, just because it'll cost you less to get it from Aldi's or Lidl's if you go there.
Okay, thank you.
Reason being is because it's expensive, because it's straight butter. So that bottle might be, I don't remember, Jackie, I think like $6, $7, $8 for the bottle. And it's about the same size as like a small thing of peanut butter, but it lasts a long time. I mean, it's going to last a long time.
I wait till it goes on sale and stock up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I do exactly what Jackie is. Like 3 weeks ago, Lidl's had like it on sale for, no, Aldi's had it on sale for $6.99. Man, boy, I was in it like 5. I took 5 out of there. I'm like, I don't care about y'all. I'm taking this thing out of here. But the nice part about ghee, the flavor profile is awesome on your vegetables. And you put a little bit of a garlic in there, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of salt, pepper in there. Boy, it really enhances the flavor. So instead of using olive oil, and I'm glad you said that, Jackie. Thank you for bringing that up. Instead of using an olive oil, ghee would be a better choice because the flavor profile. And Cindy said the same thing. She uses ghee. She said it was good. The flavor profile is huge, and it's healthy fat. So any other questions, y'all? Hope that's helpful. You're going to be excited about that document when you get it tomorrow. It's going to be really helpful, and it's something that you could actually just keep in the kitchen as a go-to to think about, number one, ideas, but also thinking about how to store certain foods. It'll be very helpful.
Oh, I have one more question, then I'll let everybody go.
Yeah.
So you said the body eventually gets used to me drinking 100 ounces of water,
Yes.
and I will. I got most of my steps today going to the bathroom. I did like 5,000 steps today at work, and it's like that's not good. I can't.
That's cute. That's
Yeah.
cute. I love it.
You burning calories up. See, you
Oh
burning
yeah,
calories as well.
okay. Tell my coworkers, hey, I got to go to the bathroom.
But no,
I have a quick question.
yeah. Well, let me ask you, Jackie. So have you found yourself not having to go to the bathroom as much?
Okay, I have a system with my water. Okay. And no, I still go to the bathroom. I've been doing this program for over a year. In the middle of the night, I only get up once, and that's progress. But during the day, when I drink this water, my goal is 32 ounces by 10 a.m., another 32 ounces between 2 and 4, and the last 32 ounces between 4 and 6. And I do 12 ounces when I first wake up in the morning. I get in about 110. That may be a little over, but between 110 to 114 daily. But I have to have a system. I can't just drink it arbitrarily. I have to have set times when I have to drink it. Otherwise, I'll forget.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have your own, and everybody's different. Like it's completely different for people who are teachers. You know what I mean? Like teachers is different because you can't just be going to the bathroom whenever you want to.
Yeah.
So as a teacher, the adjustments got to be a little bit different. Like you might have to drink, your goal might have to be to get that 25 ounces in first thing in the morning. Your goal might be, okay, before lunchtime, but before recess, I need to get this amount. Or I need to stop drinking, but I could start drinking again around 10:30 because I know I'm gonna get cut loose at 12, so I can go to the bathroom. So then you're gonna have to segment. You're gonna have to segment your knowing how your bladder is, or knowing when you're gonna have to be temperamental about, or actually depends. You know what? Matter of fact, at Walgreens, Depends is on sale, so you can get a 64.
No, not really. I don't believe he's saying this.
I know, me either.
I don't believe you are saying this to a bunch of women.
And
Really? We need to talk.
yeah, we are.
You can get a 64 pack. They got a 64 pack on sale at right now. They got a 64 pack and they're thin. You seen the new
You
one?
should be glad you on Zoom. You should be glad you are on Zoom.
They got the thin ones. You can't even tell. You can't even tell anymore. They got the thin ones. So you should try. Just try. They have the ones that are sample. They got a sample.
Cheryl needs to smack you.
The only reason why I can get away with that, because like you just said, I'm on Zoom. That's all. I can't be saying that outside of this.
No, I'll tell you.
But no, that's good. Did you get anything out of it? Any questions? Anybody else?
I have one quick question. You sent out last week a question on which would you rather ever add sugar to anything or sugar. What is it? No, never add salt to anything or never add sugar to anything. And some people responded. And my question is, which is the better choice and why?
The better choice is going to be sugar eliminating it. And here's the truth. I never put extra salt on any of my meals ever. So, because a lot of times the salt, a lot of things already have salt. A lot of foods you got already salt, and a lot of the vegetables you already have salt. A lot of vegetables already have the natural sodium. So in a lot of menus or a lot of recipes, like the other day I think I took a picture of you guys, and a lot of recipes they have salt. So remember, even if you're putting in baking soda has salt. right? A lot of the things you're making has baking soda or have, so a lot of things already has salt in it. So the two options you have is eliminating the salt, but you can always, there's a lot of herbs that are available now that are salt substitutes, and it compensates. So I would rather you try to get rid of the salt, because you're getting salt. Trust me, you're getting your salts in from other measures. It doesn't necessarily have to be you putting it in, but we're so used to, before we even, I could sit back and watch people in a restaurant and they didn't even get the meal yet. And they're going, I'm like, what are you doing? You don't even know what it tastes like yet. But your flavor palette, it has an expectation for salt. But if you eliminate it, then you no longer have that. Your palate will change.
Okay.
It's the same thing for even your sugars. If you stop eating sugar for a while, the food you eat is sweet because your body's expecting the sugar. And then after a while, you stop eating the sugar. All of a sudden you bite into food and you're like, oh my God, this stuff is sweet, man. So the answer would be salt. Try to eliminate the salt. Salt is going to create inflammation. Salt is going to also retain water, right? So you're getting enough salt already.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, y'all? Excellent. Hey, look, I appreciate y'all putting up with me, because I could be a handful, y'all. I could be a handful.
Yeah, we know.
I could be a handful. But you know I'm here to help. You know I want to take care of y'all. I want y'all to have the best. I want y'all to have the best. So proud of y'all. Proud of y'all for taking the time this evening. I'm gonna cut y'all loose. I'm already 10 minutes past. And I will I have to prepare some things, but I will get that document out to you probably tomorrow or latest on what's tomorrow? Friday? Most likely tomorrow. And that way you'll have it available. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great night, y'all. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night, ladies.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.